Israel has ordered a complete siege on Gaza as fighting intensifies with Hamas. This halts deliveries of food, water, fuel, and supplies to the territory as the two sides are trading fire after Hamas launched a surprise attack Saturday. It's estimated nearly 1,600 Israelis and Palestinians have died. And President Biden said in a statement today at least 11 American citizens are among those killed. Israel said it has largely contained or gained control of its southern towns, but militants claim to be holding more than 100 Israeli hostages inside Gaza. The Biden administration is pledging to support Israel.
Right now, what we are focused on, and what we have been focused on since the minute this broke out, is providing support and solidarity between the United States and Israel.
The only things we've said to Israel are that we're here, we've got your back, we want to make sure that you have the support that you need, we want to make sure that you have the assistance that you need.
National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications, John Kirby, joins us now. Admiral, we appreciate that. How soon until the White House, the administration knows how many Americans are hostage and where they're being held?
Well, hopefully we'll know very, very soon. We're working very closely with Israeli officials to try to get that kind of fingertip feel. We do know there are a number of unaccounted for Americans. Obviously, we're greatly concerned for their safety and security. I mean, we have to assume, or I should say accept, the grim possibility that some of these Americans may be among the hostages, but we just don't know that right now.
Ultimately, there may have to be a negotiation to extract these hostages. Is there a plan in place for that?
We will do as you've seen us do in the past. In fact, just recently, in the last few weeks, do what we need to do to get Americans held hostage or wrongfully detained overseas back home with their families where they belong. So I can't get ahead of where we are in the process here, so we don't even know if or how many Americans might be in that situation right now. But under President Biden, we will always do what we have to do to try to get Americans home with their families where they belong, and we'll just have to see where this goes.
As this escalates, Admiral, how concerned is the administration about conflict breaking out on the northern border with Lebanon?
We're deeply concerned about that. We've already seen some rocket attacks coming from Hezbollah from Lebanon across that northern border. We're in contact with Israeli officials as they work through their own process there of defending that border. But certainly that's a concern.
With the escalation accelerating, under what circumstances would any more U.S. troops be deployed in addition to the carrier that's been put in the western part of the Mediterranean? We
will always do what we need to do to look after our national security interests, defend our interests and our security commitments around the world, and that includes in that part of the world, and that's why you saw a carrier strike group now moving into the eastern Mediterranean. But we're always going to look after our national security interests. There's no plans to put U.S. boots on the ground here, but again, we're always going to look after our interests.
How close are we to that point? I mean, are there discussions, ancillary or preliminary discussions beginning?
Right now, we're focused on making sure Israel has what it needs to defend itself against this very complex series of reprehensible terrorist attacks that have visited just unspeakable violence on the Israeli people. So we're focused on making sure that they're going to get what they need to defend themselves.
What type of aid do they need? What additional things does Israel need from the United States?
Look, I think in the early days here, you're going to see really the most acute need is going to be on weapons capabilities, whether it's interceptor missiles or artillery rounds, those kinds of things, the kinds of munitions that they're expending in these early days here. That's what we're going to stay focused with them. But look, it's going to be up to the Israelis to determine, what additional assistance they need and what the United States can help provide for them. We're going to stay lashed up with them as we have been going forward so that we can be as responsive to those requests in as near real time as possible.
To get Israel munitions or financial aid, does America need a Congress to approve that? Because, of course, Congress is paralyzed indefinitely.
Well, of course you need Congress to approve security assistance to foreign nations. I would remind, though, that we already have existing authorities and existing appropriations that we already can spend against to support Israel here in these early days. But certainly, if we need to go back to Congress and ask for additional funding and authorities, we'll be happy to do that. We will absolutely do that. We are already in touch with members of Congress about the situation, what we know, what we're doing to help Israel, and we'll keep them fully informed.
And the estimate of the death toll among Americans more than doubled from this time yesterday. Why hasn't the country heard from the president today? Why is the president not addressing the nation at a time of true international crisis?
Yeah, the president's been focused very keenly today on staying up to date on what's going on. He had a key meeting this morning with his national security team. Those meetings will continue. He will be speaking to foreign leaders this afternoon across Europe to make sure that we're all aligned, that we're all seeing the same things, that we're focused on helping support Israel. So he's going to stay completely focused on this crisis, as you might expect.
Admiral, what is the White House hearing from Prime Minister Netanyahu? What type of requests or what type of updates are you all getting?
Well, the president spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu again yesterday. I would fully anticipate that additional conversations with the Prime Minister will occur at that level. Clearly, we are in touch with the Israelis on all kinds of different levels, at the cabinet level, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, and beyond. In fact, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan spoke to his counterpart today. So there's lots of different conversations happening with the Israelis so that we can, again, make sure that we know what they need and that we're doing what we can to provide those needs. Again, largely in these early days, you can expect it to be really more in the realm of munitions and weapons capabilities.
Back home, what's the impact? I assume some threat levels have been elevated or some detections have been elevated. What's the threat posture back here?
The president has directed the Department of Homeland Security, federal law enforcement, and the intel community to work with local communities throughout the United States, particularly to be aware of and to help prevent any potential threats to Jewish centers of life and culture throughout the country. So we're watching this very, very closely. Again, I don't want to get into law enforcement or intelligence matters, but we can't just assume that there aren't potentially going to be anti-Semitic threats as a result of all this. That's why we've taken that proactive step, preventative step, to work closely with local authorities from the federal level with them to make sure that we can keep an eye on, again, Jewish community centers.
You've done a lot of interviews today. You're doing tireless work there at the White House. I did hear you say earlier that Iran is complicit in this attack. What did you mean by that?
I mean that they have had long-standing support for Hamas now, many, many years. Other terrorist networks as well, but certainly Hamas, resourcing, training, capabilities. So in that regard, clearly they're complicit in what happened here over the last couple of days. What I also said was, as we look at the intelligence and the evidence, and we are, even today, even as you and I are speaking, we haven't seen any specific participation by Iran in these particular sets of attacks over the last 24, 36 hours. And our Israeli counterparts have said publicly exactly the same thing. They're looking as well, but we just haven't seen any actual physical evidence that they were involved specifically in these attacks.
Now, Republicans say you've seen enough to freeze up those funds that were unfrozen towards Iran a few days ago.
Well, we can take an action to freeze those funds whenever we want. I don't have a policy decision to speak to with respect to that account at this time. But again, we're going to look very closely at what happened here, and we're going to certainly monitor to see what role Iran might have taken, what role they might have played in these particular attacks. Again, we just haven't seen that.
Lastly, is the two-state solution off the table now? Something we've talked about for generations. Does this wipe it off?
The president still believes in the promise of a two-state solution, in peace and justice for the Israeli people as well as for the Palestinian people. And the president knows that Hamas doesn't speak for the Palestinian people. They don't speak for all the Palestinian people and all their aspirations. So in the United States, there will continue to be a support for a viable two-state solution, which the president still believes is possible, but it's going to take a lot of leadership on all sides here. And we recognize that right now the focus is rightly on making sure that the Israeli people can defend themselves against these terrorist attacks.
At the White House North Lawn, Admiral Kirby, thank you very much.
You bet.